Why smart people do stupid things and spend hours scrolling through the tape instead of changing their lives. Procrastination is not a problem of time management, it is a problem of emotion regulation. Today you will learn why your brain is terrified of important things and how to deceive it. Most of you are used to calling it laziness or lack of iron discipline. There is a real civil war going on inside your skull between the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. The limbic system is an ancient part of the brain that requires instant gratification here and now. She doesn't understand the concept of future success or a long-term career. For her, there is only the present moment and survival through pleasure. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex is trying to plan, set goals, and build your ideal life. When you sit down for a difficult project, the limbic system sees this as a threat and discomfort. It sends out an alarm, and you unconsciously reach for your phone to drown out this fear with a dose of cheap dopamine from social media. This is a classic pain avoidance mechanism. You're not just postponing a task, you're trying to escape the negative emotions it causes. The problem is that each such episode of escape strengthens neural connections, making the habit of procrastination stronger every day. You are literally training your brain to be unproductive. We will look at how to stop feeding your inner child with quick pleasures and transfer control to the adult part of your consciousness. The second critical factor is that your brain perceives you in the future as a complete stranger. Psychologists have done a lot of research and discovered an amazing fact. When you think about yourself now, some areas of the brain are activated, but when you imagine yourself in 5 or 10 years, the same areas that are responsible for thinking about complete strangers are activated. That's why it's so easy for you to shift heavy tasks for tomorrow. From the point of view of your biology, it's not you who will finish the report in the dead of night or prepare for the exam at the last minute, but some other stranger. You take a loan from your future self, enjoying your vacation now, and leave the right to pay interest to someone you don't even know. This cognitive error leads us to believe that tomorrow we will have more energy, more motivation, and more free time. However, the morning comes, and you wake up exactly the same person with the same level of fear of the unknown and the same craving for comfort. To overcome this barrier, you need to learn how to build an emotional connection with your future self. You must realize that the consequences of each of your inaction today will fall on the shoulders of the very person you will become very soon. Without this understanding, any planning system will be powerless, because your limbic system will always protect the interests of the current moment to the detriment of your global goals and dreams. Often, the paralysis of a perfectionist hides behind the mask of ordinary laziness. This condition occurs when your expectations of the result are so high that the brain chooses not to start moving at all in order to avoid the risk of failure. You set yourself a grandiose task and demand that you perform flawlessly on the first try. At this point, the stress level goes through the roof, and the psyche activates a protective mechanism in the form of procrastination. You convince yourself that you're just waiting for the right moment, the perfect mood, or additional information, but in reality you're just paralyzed by the fear of not meeting your own standards. It is important to understand that perfectionism is not a desire for the best, but a shield with which you try to close yourself from criticism and condemnation. You spend a huge amount of mental energy thinking about how everything should be perfect, instead of taking at least one small and crooked step forward. In the world of productivity, there is an important rule that says that any action is better than perfect inaction. When you allow yourself to do a bad job at the first stage, you take a lot of pressure off your psyche. This opens up access to creative energy and allows you to get off the ground. Remember that great projects are created through endless edits and improvements, and not by magic on one perfect day that will never come in the calendar of your life. Now it's time to arm yourself with specific tools to crack your internal resistance system. The first and most effective method is called the 5-second rule. As soon as you have the urge to start an important task, you should start counting down from 5 to 1 and physically start moving. This short window allows you to interrupt the cycle of reflection and prevent the limbic system from starting the process of excuses and fears. The second technique is to drastically reduce the scale of the task. If you need to write an entire book, set yourself the goal of writing just 2 sentences. The brain won't see a threat in such a small action and will let you get started. The secret is that the most difficult thing is to overcome the inertia of rest. Once you are involved in the process, dopamine starts to be released from the very fact of moving forward, and it becomes more difficult to stop than to continue. It is also extremely important to create artificial deadlines and strict external restrictions. Our brain is designed in such a way that work fills up all the time allotted to it. If you give yourself a whole day for one task, you will suffer and postpone it until the evening. But if you set aside just 60 minutes of concentrated work without a phone or notifications, your efficiency will increase several times. You must turn the process of achieving a goal into a game with clear rules, where the reward for completing a small step follows immediately. It retrains your mind to enjoy discipline rather than endlessly consuming useless content. To sum up, it's important to realize that your struggle with procrastination doesn't end when you become the perfect robot, but when you accept the rules of your brain's game. You now understand that behind every desire you have to put things off for later is not a weakness of character, but a complex biological process of self-defense. To finally consolidate your success, take one simple step right now. Not tomorrow, not in an hour, but at the very second when the screen of this video goes off. Choose the smallest task that is hanging over you like a dead weight, and spend exactly 5 minutes solving it. This action will destroy the wall of resistance and prove to your subconscious mind that you are no longer a hostage to your ancient instincts. Your life is the sum of the decisions you make in moments of discomfort. Every time you choose effort over light dopamine, you're building the foundation for the person you've always dreamed of becoming. Stop waiting for ideal conditions or inspiration, because discipline is the ability to work in their absence. Get out of the endless planning cycle and get down to implementation. Subscribe to the channel if you are ready to take full control of your time, and write in the comments one thing that you will do today against all odds. Your future self will thank you for this choice.